The Falcon Heavy is twice as powerful as any other rocket that can be used. The Falcon Heavy can send nearly 64 metric tons into space. This is more than twice as much as the Delta IV Heavy, which is the next closest operational vehicle. A SpaceX sales representative predicts that the company will launch Falcon Heavy, which is at present the most powerful operational rocket on the planet, up to 6 times in the next 12 months. Stay with us till the end to know more about it. Elon Musk, the company's chief executive officer and founder, made SpaceX's debut in February of 2018 by sending the first generation of the Tesla Roadster into interplanetary space. This event came after years of delays and anticipation as SpaceX waited for the right time to move forward with the massive rocket Falcon Heavy. The launch was nearly error-free. The only problem was that one of the rocket's first 3-stage boosters did not successfully land on a drone ship that was positioned in the Atlantic Ocean. Other than that, the launch was a success. This is merely a sample of what is to come in the future. The second launch of Falcon Heavy occurred 14 months after the first. During that launch, which took place in April of 2019, a large communication satellite was placed into an extremely energetic geostationary transfer orbit. The launch was a parody of the rocket's first commercial mission. After a little over 2.5 months, the Falcon Heavy successfully carried out its third launch, which was a demonstration mission for the United States Air Force. A quick turnaround like that gave people reason to be optimistic, but 39 months later, they realized those hopes were unfounded. It is still difficult to speculate on when exactly Falcon Heavy will finally take off for the 4th time. For the past few years, every Falcon Heavy launch that was supposed to take place within the near future has been more or less indefinitely delayed due to payload issues. SpaceX has had no problem building and qualifying a significant quantity of Falcon Heavy hardware for its missions. However, due to a lack of payload that is ready to fly, the company has been forced to find places to store all 7 boosters indefinitely. This accounts for more than a third of the fleet. It's possible that will finally change. Tom Ochinaro, Vice President of Commercial Sales for SpaceX, shared with the audience at the 2022 World Satellite Business Week that the company is planning on launching 6 Falcon Heavy rockets within the next year. Ochinaro was speaking on a panel at the conference. It is possible that the launch hiatus will be broken by Falcon Heavy in the very near future, and the rocket will then begin its run of 6 consecutive missions. Recently, Spaceflight Now, a reputable source of launch schedules, updated its launch schedule to bring forward the Falcon Heavy's USSF-44 mission from late October 22 to October 23. This change was made because the original launch date was October 22. The subsequent trip into space, another primary source that can be trusted, agrees. Both of these sources concur that it is possible for ViSat-3 and USSF-67 2 additional missions to launch in the same year as USSF-44 and ViaSat-3. Both sets of payloads are going to be launched directly into geostationary orbit by the Falcon Heavy, which is a type of mission that SpaceX has never attempted before. To ensure that the rocket's upper stage has sufficient fuel for such a difficult endeavor, it will first have to endure a roughly 6-hour coast in space and a journey through Earth's radiation belts before beginning a lengthy burn to circularize its orbit around 36,000 kilometers or 22,300 miles above the surface of the planet. This will allow the upper stage to fire up for a shorter burn to circularize its orbit. During each launch, SpaceX will perform a deliberate expansion of one of the 3 boosters that comprise the Falcon Heavy. In light of the past performances of all 6 of Falcon Heavy's near-term missions, it is currently unknown which mission will get the launch slot first. It is safer to assume that the rocket won't launch at all in 2022 until a fully assembled vehicle has rolled out onto the launch pad for a launch in late October. The payloads for USS Falcon 44 would need to arrive in Florida any day now, and SpaceX would need to begin transporting Falcon Heavy boosters to Pad 39A's integration hangar within a week or two in order to start putting the rocket together. If the procedure is started, one or more of those distinct boosters, including USS F-44, will be seen making their way to Pad 39A. Ochinaro's assertion that SpaceX has 6 Falcon Heavy missions provisionally scheduled over the next year is supported by unofficial public manifests such as Spaceflight Now and Next Spaceflight. Unnamed military contractors in the United States are currently putting in an incredible amount of effort to get a number of satellites ready for launch. Contractors working for Viasat and EchoStar. In the meantime, Boeing and Maxar are working hard to get 2 enormous commercial communication satellites ready for launches in November 2022 and January 2023, respectively. Furthermore, if NASA decides to move forward with the mission, the Psyche asteroid explorer could be ready for its second launch attempt as early as July of 2023. In additional discussion on Wednesday's panel, the head of a Northrop Grumman subsidiary that collaborates with Elon Musk was present. According to SpaceX, the Starship rocket has tremendous untapped potential. An agreement has been reached between Northrop Grumman and SpaceX to launch robotic spacecraft that will extend the operational lifetimes of satellites currently in orbit. The Northrop subsidiary's efforts to dock its spacecraft with satellites have been fruitful on 2 separate occasions, and the company intends to grow the service. We are collaborating with SpaceX Starship, which will be an incredible capability in the future, said Rob Haig, who serves as president of Northrop Grumman and Space Logistics. Mission Extension Vehicles, or MEVs, are the name given to the robotic spacecraft that Haig's company manufactures and operates. Companies that have satellites in the area of space that is known as geosynchronous orbit, or GEO, are its customers. They are making preparations to refuel the rocket while it is in orbit, which is something that has not been done before, but is necessary for Starship to arrive at GEO. Haig has stated that they are planning to ensure that this capability works, which means checking that everything, including the rocket that will take him to the destination, is functioning properly. Over the course of its development spanning 2 decades, SpaceX has clearly demonstrated its growth and success. Even the head of NASA pointed out that not too long ago that everyone made fun of Elon Musk's SpaceX when it competed against Boeing. But lately, they've been having a lot more success in their launch attempts. The US Space Agency has given SpaceX a total of 14 missions to carry out. The most recent deal is a contract worth $1.4 billion that will send 5 more astronauts to the International Space Station. On the other hand, NASA has given 6 different missions to Boeing when the company still hadn't managed to launch its Starliner spacecraft that was designed to fly astronauts to the ISS as part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program. When there was the beginning of the space cargo and crew programs, the 2 serious bidders were SpaceX and Boeing, and everyone laughed at SpaceX and said Boeing is a legacy company. However, Boeing was able to win both contracts and become the sole provider of crew transportation to and from the ISS. During their conversation, Nelson revealed, "Well, guess who's about to make its 6th flight after its first test flights with astronauts? And guess who's still on the ground? I believe that the private space industry is extremely beneficial. SpaceX is on track to launch its massive Starship spacecraft and carry humans all the way to the surface of the moon." Nelson suggested that everyone take a look at what SpaceX has already achieved. Notably, Nelson's remarks came after the second launch attempt for NASA's SLS was postponed in the beginning of September due to a leak of liquid hydrogen. The launch is a component of the organization's Artemis mission, which aims to one day bring humans back to the surface of the moon. In comparison, the Space Launch System took NASA a total of 12 years to construct. The first test flights of Starship prototypes were performed by SpaceX in December of 2020, and the company plans to conduct its first orbital launch this year. That is a significant difference. So that's all for today's video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to watch more videos like this one, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you will always be notified.